Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you. Of course,
Yeah,
this is awesome, and
it's a long
always
time
good to
coming.
sit down with you.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I like to start with what were you doing before you even got into real estate?
Yes, I moved to Arizona and then jumped into the sales world in a technology sales company. It's a company called Tech Systems. Shout out. But no, they are professional services and service-based technology company. So I was an account manager. I managed some of the relationships with their bigger clients. And yeah, so it was a good foundation of relationship building and sales to jump into the real estate world. I did that for 4.5 years. So
Wow.
yeah.
So now, did you move here for the job?
No, I didn't. I graduated college in Northern California and then needed a change, need something different. So came down here
Why'd you pick Arizona?
because what's not to love?
Yeah.
Everyone loves it here. Just,
There's other places. You could have gone to Hawaii. You could have gone to Colorado.
it was close enough to home. It was,
Okay.
it was a good place to be.
I mean, look, I moved here from Boston, but
Yeah.
I always ask, like, hey, what brought you here?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't the job. You just picked the spot.
Yeah, I just graduated college. It was
Yeah.
kind of like, and I had a job right out of college in Sacramento and just was like, you know what, let's make a move. So
Scary, though.
yeah, I feel like when you're young, ignorance is bliss. Like I didn't think it was going to be scary.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't really, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be scary now maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but then it really wasn't. So
Looking back, I was just 17 when I
Oh,
made the
wow.
decision to come to Arizona, go to Arizona State. But it was
Yeah.
like, a couple thousand miles away. You're going to be away
That's
from your
far,
family.
yeah.
No one out here, never been here.
never been here.
Right.
Oh my god.
But like you said, I didn't think about that. It was
No.
like, well, that sounds like a good school.
yeah.
My parents worked for the airlines, so it was free travel at the time. This is pre 9/11. So it was free travel. Come back anytime you want. It was
Yeah.
it was almost the same commute as if I went to UMass Amherst by drive
As a
to
flight.
fly.
Hey, that was a good way to just kind of justify it. And if
Right.
it's free flights, why not?
Yeah.
Mom can
And
come
my dad
visit
said,
and-
"Look, you can golf year round." My dad's a golfer, so he's like, "You can golf year round." So
So
I think
he
he was. I
wanted
think
you
he
to
was
be
selling me
here.
on it too.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
So you're in there. You're in this job for 4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
What was the catalyst to say, "Hey, I'm going to get into real estate"?
Couple things. I mean, so I grew up in a real estate family. My mom and aunt are an agent team, and actually how I met you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the San Francisco Bay Area. So, she's been top producer in Solano County for 18 years. I grew up in it, and I kind of just knew at my core I probably wasn't going to be a corporate America girl forever. I saw the lifestyle that, real estate was able to bring my mom. She's a, top producer, but still was driving us to school and going on field trips. So kind of had that. And that is kind of what I had in mind for my adult life and, eventually get married, have kids. That's what I wanted. And so I figured, you know what, start it now, build it up so that when that time comes, I'm ready to rock and roll. That was kind of my thought process.
That's good foresight.
Yeah, it kind of was kind of my thought process there. But yeah, at the end of the day too, I just, knew getting into, a corporate job right out of college and getting that experience was what I needed to do. But I just always knew it wasn't going to be my long play.
Yeah. Now, was it I get my license and I'm part-time in it a little bit, or did you go hard stop, all in, saved up some money and...
Yeah. I got my license while I was still working there.
Mm-hmm.
No one knew. It was kind of one of those companies that,
Oh, they frowned upon that.
I would be out in a second. If they
Okay.
knew. Yeah. Because they're all in or all out. So top secret, got my license while I was still working there. And then end of 2019, I kind of knew I'm going to wait till end of the year, like Christmas time, and things slow down and kind of give them the full rest of 2019, and then they can get someone in my place and yeah,
That was nice.
I actually had that last quarter was one of my best sales quarters of my career there.
Go out with a bang.
Yeah, so
Love
I,
it.
put in my notice, and my boss was like, "Are you serious? Are you sure? You all right?" But yeah, so left, and yeah, haven't really looked back. And right in time for COVID, I think it was, I didn't know. Obviously, no one knew that COVID was going to hit, and I'm kind of glad I left before because I think I would have just. Obviously, now looking back, we know that COVID did nothing but good things for the real estate market. But I think at the time, I would have thought twice about leaving a good paying salaried cushion job.
Right. Yeah.
But
with not
hey,
knowing what was happening.
it all worked out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How'd you get your start?
So Chuck and Angela Fazio or they're with EXP now, but I initially joined Revelation Real Estate, which was in Chandler. It was like the largest singly owned brokerage in the
How'd
country.
you get connected to them? Was that through mom too?
Oh, no. I don't remember.
School?
I think one of their, I honestly don't remember.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the recruiters, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, I sat down with them. It was they had an awesome group. They are, awesome
That
people.
facility was pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah. So that's what kind of sold me. And then, joined them. And then a few weeks later, they said they're going to EXP. So I went with them. And yeah, that's kind of how that all got started.
But you've been on your own, or were you ever on a team?
I was on a team for a little bit. And yeah, but right now I'm on my own. Yep.
Okay.
Just
Good.
doing my own thing. Kind of just, that's, building and growing.
Yeah.
Solo agent. So
Okay,
yeah,
good.
it's good.
Now, with that, how do you generate business?
Yeah, a few things. So big time my network, sphere, past clients. So, keeping in touch with them, pop buys, all that kind of stuff. And then also a lot of social media, digital advertising, believe it or not, like Meta, Facebook ads, big time.
Okay.
Kind of learning the logistics of those.
So running ads.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And are those, how do you target those? Are they geographic? Like, hey, I'm going to geographically target an area, or are you're going after a specific kind of audience?
Well, yeah. So they limit a lot of the Facebook,
Yeah.
like Facebook or Meta, sorry. Really, you have to, there's all the times like different requirements for real estate ads. So
Yeah.
I'm always like asking ChatGPT, I'm like, can I do this in the real estate?
Smart.
Yeah. Tell me how to get around this. But
That's cool.
yeah, like what should I do if Meta declines this ad because of special requirements? Like to go about it this way. Yeah.
Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah. Sorry if that's a secret, but yeah.
It's not there somewhere.
Yeah.
That's where it's
and
getting
it's just
the
a lot
information
of,
from.
I've learned that like you could play with like Meta and digital ads like kind of cheaply. Like just put $25 into it.
Right.
And see how it works. And then if it's performing well, then you can, change ad area, that sort of thing. But yeah, it surprisingly really works.
Yeah.
And it depends, I think, demographic too. It's like, for those are like, I know that I'm not going to get, always my ideal perfect client
Right.
responding to those. But it's like building a brand, getting your face out there, building that know, like, and trust. It's kind of the key to like the goal of Facebook ads. It's not necessarily to get the perfect client.
Okay, well, let's stay on the digital side. So on the organic stuff that you're doing on social with, are you more Instagram than Facebook than TikTok? Which one's your one?
Yeah, Instagram. So Instagram for more of my organic stuff.
How often are you posting?
Lately? Or no, yeah. So
Or what's the goal?
yeah. I'm now trying. Summer I kind of fell off completely. I was MIA.
You had a busy summer.
Yeah, just kind of, but yeah, now back to try to do 3 to 4 a week. Trying to really kind of hone in on some pillars. I know that my Instagram audience is, people that resonate with me that
Right.
are, and so really trying to keep that's kind of, I try to bring value to those people in the way that's like, okay, if I was moving to Scottsdale, if I was buying a house, if I was selling a house, and you're my age, demographic, that sort of thing, what would I want to hear?
Yes.
So that's kind of my Instagram strategy. And then Facebook is a little bit different because it's a different demographic on
Right.
Facebook and Meta ads. So I definitely tailor that content. I take a lot of the same concepts, but tailor it to a different audience.
It's a different audience. Yeah. Okay. Now let's stay on Instagram for a second because we just did a content class the other day.
Oh, cool.
And so you're doing 2 to 3 a week. Is that 2 to 3 a week in the feed? Is that reels? What are you doing for your stories?
Stories are kind of a free for all. Whatever, but yeah, for feed, I try to do like 2 to 3, like reels of like property tour or, like a neighborhood feature or something like that. And then one, like maybe like a carousel or something, So I try to do, kind of switch it up, but kind of keep that same rhythm, I guess. And then stories or whatever, if I'm showing property or, going to a listing appointment, kind of whatever's going on.
Yeah. Well, I really liked, and I don't know if it's just me because I'm in the industry, and maybe you can speak to that did you get an uptick in views and stuff, but when you were renovating your house.
Oh yeah.
right? I liked it wasn't so much before and after, it was just the whole process of how it was going. And then even
Yeah.
when stuff was getting delayed, or like, was it the fireplace that took so long?
Oh no, I did it myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took so long you did it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's interesting. That's a good point. I I kind of didn't expect because I'm not. I mean, I'm a real estate agent. I'm not an interior designer. I'm not. I don't like. I didn't share that stuff like trying to have like authority or at any point. Like I was just kind of sharing my story, and yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of people like were following. Like I was kind of surprised. People cared. Not like they cared, but just like it was something that people were
They were
interested
interested
in.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so it was fun. It was actually really fun, and yeah, I definitely had an uptick of views. I had a lot of people like, "Oh, we can't wait to see," or like asking like, "How did that turn out?" or "What happened there?" So, yeah, it was good. And yeah, the fireplace. Yeah, I mean, I learned in Arizona like it's a different. Obviously, like fireplaces aren't as like important,
Right.
or like
When necessary.
yeah. So there's
Yeah.
just like fewer fireplace resources. I don't know, or like stores, and like fireplace things are like very expensive. Like looking for like a new fireplace like box thing, it was gonna be like 7 grand.
Yes.
And I was like, what?
I know.
No, that's so dumb.
I had sticker shock myself.
Right? I had no idea. That was the other thing about renovating. You kind of learn like, oh, I had no
Yeah.
idea that like pipe that goes behind the faucet in the bathtub, that little thing is $1,500. What? Like,
Wow.
like
Yeah.
just stuff like that
Yeah.
was a learning. But yeah, so the fireplace, I was like, you know what? We are just gonna sand this down. We're gonna paint it ourselves. We're gonna make it look pretty. So
That's
that's what
awesome.
we did.
Yeah. But see, like stuff like that, like I saw it, that was months ago, but I still remember it. Right. And that's why I think the power of social media, branding, and also like you're finding like the knowledge that you have.
Yeah.
So now when you have a client that's like, yeah, I'm looking for something, maybe if it's not what I want, I'll fix it up a little bit. And you're like, well, I just went through that.
Yeah, 100%.
And you have the contacts
Yep.
now to do it.
Yep.
And you have some sort of a general idea of, wow, if we did this one and it's 4,000 square feet and you're looking to do this much stuff, this is about how much it's going to run,
Yes.
right? That I can kind of speak to it because you lived through it.
Yeah, that's spot on kind of how I've taken that experience and I have like I did document a lot of that stuff for my own purposes for my clients and for our like moving forward of just like if we ever have to redo things. But yeah, I definitely found that to be valuable for going on listing appointments and talking to sellers and talking to buyers, walking through houses and like, oh, if we bought this house we'd want to do X, Y, and Z, kind of being able to then engage, help them figuring out what they need to budget for and that sort of thing.
Right. Now, you also kind of farmed your community that you moved into during the process.
Still going, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we've been lived there for 8-10 months now. Kind of moved in, holidays we moved in, but half moved in. And
Right.
I'd say like January of this year was like, we're in. Yeah, and it's been a slow process of just, meeting people up there. John has only lived here 2.5 years. I was always in Old Town in Central Scottsdale. So we're both like new residents of North Scottsdale. But yeah, just meeting people and trying to kind of build. We know we're going to be there for the long run, and for business and for personal. We want to be in a community that we know people and kind of build that, and take pride in knowing our neighbors and that sort of thing. So yeah, I try to do some fun, creative things and participate in community events and that sort of thing.
So what's some of the things? Because these are great ideas for agents out there. Is to I always look at. You can do all this stuff online, but at some point you got to get from the online to offline and building those relationships that way and farming. And especially if you're in an area that's the price point and the market and has a good turn that you'd like to be in, then for sure farming your area is great. Not only because you're already there and you would know it well, but because like logistically, an appointment comes up, you're like seconds from the house.
Totally.
You're not driving 45 minutes to a listing appointment,
And that's always
45
the
back
goal.
showings. Yeah, keep it close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it easy, keep it simple. Yeah, absolutely.
So what's some of those things that you did do for the farming activity?
Yeah, the first one, which actually was like really well received, and people still come up to me, is when construction was going on. I think I talked to you about this one. Yeah, when construction was going on, I put together like these like goodie bags for our neighbors. They were really silly, but they were kind of fun. They were like kids' birthday party like construction bags. And I did like a little note that were like index card size that just said, like, thanks for your patience during construction. Because, I mean, we live on a cul-de-sac, and there was days that, like, there was, like, 17 trucks and, you know, guys spewing out into the street and stuff everywhere. And so, you know, it was genuinely like, don't hate us before we even move in.
Yes. That
like,
strategy is awesome.
Like, it was truly, you know, that, you know, and so I did a little note, like, thanks for your patience. Like, we are renovating to live there. We're not flippers or anything like that, you know, introduced ourselves, said, you know, if there's anything that's an issue, if something's bothering you, please call me. You know, I'm happy to help.
Don't call the HOA, call me.
Yeah, I did say that.
That kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
I did. I
agree.
said, you know, I totally understand if anything is annoying, and this has been a long process, so please call me. Put that in there, and I think I did like these little tape measures, like mini tape measures, mini like screwdriver set that I think are like could work well for like watches or
People
picture
use.
frames. Yeah. Some candy, and I think that's it. But yeah, and I dropped them all off on neighbors' doorsteps, and yeah.
And people still talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I mean, right when we moved in, like, everyone was super nice, came and introduced themselves, like, you know, so I think it definitely did, you know, especially, you know, most of our neighbors had lived there 20 something years and stuff. You know, so
Have you had any of the neighbors over to your house?
they've come through. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We've done some, you know, just neighbor, come on by, you know, come sit in our backyard, and that's not done yet, but
Yeah.
yeah. So it's been good. Yeah.
Have you thought about doing any, you know, I've had people with their neighborhoods, they've had, and I'm sure there's a better name for this, but like literally like, hey, we'll do the hors d'oeuvres at your house, we'll do the desserts at your house, we'll do the main course at your house, and they do like
fun,
a little,
yeah.
a fun night, but you get to see everyone's house.
Yeah. I love that.
It's neighbor related. It's not real estate related. It's neighbor related. Like, hey neighbors, I want to put together a party, and we'll host the appetizers. You host the first course. You host the second course. You host the dessert.
I love that. That is like so up my alley. I'm going to steal that.
And that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Yeah. And I think that's the key. I think, like, once you kind of get in the mindset of, like, real estate is a relationship game. You know, it's really not a, you know, who sent out the best mailers today, you know? And so, you know, I think for me, moving up there and really knowing that that's what I want, like, you know, I want to build my business up there. It was, how am I going to build these relationships, and how am I going to, you know, be known and liked in this community, and then the business will follow. So that's kind of been my approach this year. And so, yeah, it's
I
been
love
good.
it. So you mentioned networking before and Sphere and stuff. When you're first getting in the business though, and you didn't have that past client database to go after, was there other ways that you were generating business?
I did a lot of open houses in the beginning, which I still do. I mean, I think open houses are great. And I think the key to open houses is, like, just go in, like, you know, be prepared, have all your resources, do something fun. You know, I've done goodie bags, I've done, you know, treats, all that kind of stuff. And, like, again, it's about, like, meeting people and building, like, a rapport, where I think a lot of people go in with, like, this, oh, I'm going to get everybody's contact information, and I'm going to, you know, sell them this house. And I think that's when, like, people walk in and feel that and get,
That's a good tip. People feel that.
yeah,
Yeah.
big time. And so I've gotten a number of clients from open houses that don't just walk in and be like, oh, we want to work with you, but, like, they'll take my info and I'll get a call 2 months later.
Nice.
Multiple of them. They're like, oh, yeah, we met you. And literally one of them had said, like, you didn't follow us around the house, so we immediately knew we liked you, you know?
Good one.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of always been my approach to open houses. And then, yeah, in the beginning, yeah, a lot, again, more of, like, social media, and a lot of my initial business really came from people from my old company. Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, who I had worked with for years, who I was friends with, and yeah. And so then from there, yeah, still then nurturing those, and a lot of my business for the years after were referrals from them. So that's
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bring that up a lot for new agents because we talk about, you know, hey, work your database, but they have no database. And I'm like, well, you have no database, but you have a sphere. And part of your sphere is the company you just left.
Yeah.
Or the mom who's got kids in school, and you got other moms at
yeah.
the school, you got
That's
all the
a
teachers at the
gold mine.
school.
I don't have
It's
kids, but I can't wait to have kids for that reason.
Right. You get in there and there's another place to network and farm. Especially when they're at the right school.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because you know, we've worked together for a long time. I will tell you that, you know, you work with all clients of all levels, but predominantly I see more luxury, doctors, engineers. It sounds like it's been by design that you're working in that luxury community, but has it been by design?
Yes, it has. And I think it's just a lot of, get like, who I try to tailor my value to. And, that's kind of, I've spent a lot of time like research, like, okay, if I was that person a doctor moving here to work at Mayo or whatever, what would they need to know? And kind of making sure that I'm always like kind of tailored with that information, like, the loan program that you guys have for medical and, that kind of stuff. I'm always like, make sure that I'm like prepared with that. So if that person ever comes to me, or if I ever, refer that person like that, I'm kind of,
ready.
They feel good about working with me, or initially, they don't feel like they need to go talk to somebody else to decide what agent they want to work with.
Do you feel what percentage of some of the people that you work with in that crowd are relocating versus they're in town already, they're just moving somewhere?
Oh, almost like 100%.
Relo? Wow. And is that because they're coming through social or through contacts of people you've already helped?
Maybe not totally 100%, but a lot of them. My initial ones that come to mind were relos. Yeah, a little bit of both. I think a lot of it in, even on social media, a lot of my clients are not necessarily like they saw me on social media, but somebody that they know who follows me referred them. Like, oh, my friend, or, so-and-so is moving to Phoenix. I sent them your Instagram.
Nice.
Or that sort of thing. And so that's why I always, that's who I kind of try to, use Instagram for. It's, not necessarily for those people, but also for who they know.
Yeah. Well, for those that want to see your content, we'll put your, handle down below so they can check it out. Because I'm always about copying other people's stuff when it's really good.
I love it.
Especially, there's a lot of the questions I get asked on social is, I'm doing it, but I'm not getting anything from it. And so, and there's a lot of different reasons that can be, but it's good to hear that you're getting it. What do you think it is for you?
And I think that's interesting because it's not, I think social is a lot of the times, like, I think I feel like it's not even like one day it all just hits and happens. Sometimes, like, you don't feel like you're posting, you're doing all the things and you feel like nothing is working,
Yes.
But then all of a sudden you'll get that call of like, oh, my friend said they saw you on Instagram so it's almost like you got to just almost have like blind trust with content.
Yeah.
Because you just never know, like it's not necessarily needs to be your entire like lead generation or business development source because might not be a good plan to just count on content right off the bat.
I agree.
But I think that it's definitely like, even if you're not seeing immediate results, just keep going.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
But
it should be a pillar of the business, but it's also one of the pillars that doesn't take a lot of energy. Like it doesn't take a lot. It's not a 4 hours a day, 5 days a week that you need to be doing this. It can be 30, 40 minutes to batch out 10 or 12 videos that then end up going out. You're in there 20, 30 minutes a day.
That is sometimes easier said than done.
I agree.
That is sometimes easier said, to be honest. I mean, but to your point, once you kind of, I think when you start doing it, it gets easier. Like, truly, if you kind of know, like, okay, it doesn't have to be this big old production.
Right. Where's the stick point for you? That makes that difficult.
Lately, it's been, my goal has been, how do I, like, not as much, like, more content, but, like, I've been kind of on this, like, better content.
Yeah.
Not just hurry up, throw it on. Like, how do I make this more engaging? Like, oh, is that going to be, like, or catchy? Like, different. Like, my thing lately has been thinking up or figuring out the, like, good, valuable.
What's working.
Yeah.
And what would hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than throw something on.
Right.
So,
well, I think there's got to be time in your schedule where you're doing ideation, like figure out like what's the ideas, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
And it's maybe stuff like you saw other people's posts, or you hear stuff that's going on in the news, or you have questions from other sellers and buyers and you're making notes on your phone, or you're sitting at night unwinding in your almost complete backyard with a little wine and you're like, all right, let's figure out some stuff. So I got to come up with the ideas. Then I have to block the time to do my shoots. That way it's not like winging it, because you're not just going to do it. Like, block the
Yeah.
time to do it. But then the third one is the refinement of it. Like going back to your past
Yeah.
reels and say, which one's got the most, not views, but engagement?
Yeah.
Which ones did people ask me the most questions about? Which ones did people DM me about? Which ones are they remembering? Like, well, Greg remembered the fireplace one, right?
Totally.
Like, so many other people keep asking me about that thing. So maybe I need to bring up more stuff about the remodeling or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at, or what's performing for other people. So I go into other people's stuff and be like, hey, what's the highest performing stuff? Or now ChatGPT, it links with the internet now. So you can say, hey, search for the highly performing real estate videos that are most engaging. And then you look through those ones. And you're like, oh, that would be a good one to shoot. And now that's part of your refinement and ideation become one thing to create for your next batch content.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And I found what's helpful with that is, I mean, my personal, again, I try to remember sometimes I'm a real estate agent. I'm not trying to be an Instagram influencer. I'm not trying to be so that's what I have to sometimes remember. Like, I'm not doing this to gain, 1 million followers. I'm doing this to speak to my direct buyer client or seller client or, new friend. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's where I sometimes like, okay, this is not about, becoming the most popular on Instagram. So, and a lot of that, I think too, what helps is even just throughout the day, if you're like taking a lot of the B-roll videos, and then that way when, you start to think of topics and stuff, just use one of those videos.
There you go.
Instead of, because I found, I mean, this was it still sometimes is my problem, but I'll get caught up on, okay, I have this really great topic. Now what's the perfect video to go with it? And sometimes it's like, then you're just planning
Stuck.
and you get
Procrastinating.
Yes.
Yeah.
It turns into like a 2-week thing. Like, it doesn't have to be a 2-week thing. So yeah, it's just kind of figuring out like, lately my motto has been done is better than perfect. Because I do get stuck in the, how do I make it perfect?
Yeah.
So done is better than perfect.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next for you? I know we talked a little bit off camera about the branding and, more luxury. So what does that look like for you to get more into the brand and luxury?
Yeah, I'm excited. Kind of at in a sense, rebranding, rebuilding phase in my business. I mean, I've been doing this for almost 5 years now. I have great past clients. I'll always, be there to take care of them. But I'm really focusing in on building a brand up in North Scottsdale, really honing in on building a community in, Greyhawk, DC Ranch, North Scottsdale area for the business reasons, but also I'm going to be there for years to come. And, I want to have a community around me, be able to sponsor community events and know people and, that sort of thing. And so, yeah, I've really kind of taken a step back on the wide, development of my business and narrowed in, tried to be, mile deep instead of mile wide.
Yeah, I like that.
And kind of focusing on relationships and getting to know people there and how I can be of value of people looking to buy and sell up in North Scottsdale.
Have you thought about, we talked about networking before. You've worked in big businesses before. Have you thought about going to the businesses in like on, DC Ranch Market Street, right? Have you, and the businesses right up on Greyhawk, Isabella's, like, have you taught, not just throw an event there, but also networking with them, like the owners, the employees, and bringing benefit to them?
Yeah, I need to. That is something that's I need to get to know. I've done a couple, like, go meet the owner of the coffee shop and, hey, introduce myself. I'm going to do a video. I'll tag you. Let's, I've done
Like
that
that?
kind of thing, but I need to go deeper on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just thinking out loud. I've had one of my agents, another state, real estate coach. He does an interview with the owner, right? And then he writes a little blurb on a postcard and puts a QR code to the interview. And then he uses that for his farming. So he farms the neighborhood with, I interview Isabella's. I talk about the stuff, where it originated, whatever. We do a little interview. I throw the QR code to the video on there. And then you write a little thing about it on your your branded postcard that then gets farmed out to the community.
That's
Then you
good.
take that postcard and you go down Market Street and you go grab the cigar bar lounge over there and be like, hey man, would you like to do something like this? And they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Maybe they split the cost with you, or maybe you just take it on.
Yeah.
But now you're farming and getting your name out to the whole community and branding. You're bringing benefit to the establishment.
That's
And now
big.
you're
Yeah.
more well known in there because everyone that's scanning the little code,
Yeah.
you're not capturing their information, you're not grabbing their email address, they're just seeing the video.
Yeah,
But
and
they
that's-
see you and them, and they're not thinking, oh yeah, we're not, like, you're not even talking real estate agent. You're
No.
talking, you're in the relationship business. You just happen to be a real estate agent.
No, that's good. And that's kind of, when you're not grabbing, not everything, I mean, my opinion, not all content necessarily needs the like lead grab, where I think that goes back to like Gary Vee's, theory of jab, hook, where it's
Yeah.
like build, then ask. And that's a good, hey, this is just free value. This is something cool. Here's something, where you might not necessarily get a person's phone number off of it, but when that time does come, they're going to remember you.
Right.
So yeah, no,
And you
that's
think-
a good one.
You think about, what are the doctors looking for, or the nurses that are travel nurses, and people that are coming to town. What are they looking for? They're looking for stuff around the community.
Yeah, and I actually I just finished it last week and put it up. I did do a North Scottsdale like lifestyle and community guide, like locals and community guide.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I finished that last week and I have it. I did handwrite it from like this was not a Chat GPT.
Whoa,
Right.
okay.
It was I did it.
You have to
because I
preface
wanted-
that nowadays.
No, I know, but I also did it because I thought I'm like, oh, should I? But I'm like, this is something that I plan on updating a lot as I do stuff like that, or as I meet the owner of this little boutique, put something about them. And so it's like I have to, it doesn't have to, it's never going to be completely done. It's kind
Right.
of going to be my and I
like
put
that.
that in my description. I'm like, it's kind of like my notebook. Whereas I'm like experiencing things up here, or trying new restaurants that are good, or meeting business owners, or doing fun things. I'm just going to add it to my little locals and community guide,
Oh, I like that.
and the link is going to be in my bio at all times. And
That's
like
great.
seasonal events, I'll keep the calendar updated, and so just kind of keeping that going. But yeah, that's a really good thing I could start doing and add it to the community
Right,
guide
you could
every
add that
week.
in there,
Yeah.
right? They just have a little link to the videos, and
Yeah, that's really good.
That's a great idea. One of my coaches, she did all relocation in the Miami area.
Oh,
And
cool,
she was
yeah.
doing like the head coaches, and the stories were fun to hear. But what she always said to me was, when they're looking to move to town, you're not the realtor. You're like the tour guide concierge. So when
100%.
someone comes to town and they're like, yeah, we're going to have a family here, or my wife's actually pregnant, well, then she's like, great, I booked the 3 top OBs in town. We're going to go interview them for your wife.
That's good.
Right. So the guy hasn't even picked the job to take the job at the hospital, or to be the head coach for the Miami Heat, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. She's like, hey, let's just check out, these things that I know that are going to be important to you. Or, hey, we already have 3 kids. And you're like, great, I booked the interviews with 3 principals with the top schools in town.
Yeah.
They're in the areas that I think you're going to like to live in. We're going to meet them at 1, 2, and 3 today.
Yeah.
And she's doing that. Not, hey, let me show you the 3 subdivisions.
Exactly. And it's like there's no way those clients aren't going to use them and not going to rave about them to other people. And, I think that's like the magic of going a mile deep and not a mile wide on your business, where like you just own that demographic and that, the relocation people in that area, and be able to, okay, you need doctor set up, principal set up, boom, boom, boom. And just, that's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I
It
love
was
it.
and that goes back to your open house strategy. Like, I'm not following around the house. I'm not like, you got to sign in now, don't take another step, right? You're just, I need your information. It's go ahead and check around. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to be a resource. And later on they come back to you because
Yep.
you weren't pushy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were adding value in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the key. Just always be the person that's looking to give more than get, and it always comes back around.
I love that. Okay. Let's talk about personal stuff, right? So what does a normal day in the life look like for you? If it was like an optimal day?
Gotta love it. Yeah. So get up, go to the gym. I kind of wish I wasn't a morning gym person, because I feel like my brain is actually is better in the morning. So I wish I could be like, oh, I'm gonna work, get up at 5 a.m. and work, but like, I'm just like, I get up and go to the gym. Try to
Good.
be at the gym by 7, so work out, come home, shower, quickly do emails. If showings, listing appointments and stuff, I usually try to schedule for like lunchtime, like noon to 3-ish.
Okay.
So that I kind of have time in the morning to, like, if there's any last minute prep or like need to print something or something, I kind of have that like 10 to 11 o'clock hour for that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and then appointments from like lunch to mid-afternoon or so, and then get home and catch up on stuff, plan content for the next day, what needs to be posted, that sort of thing. Make dinner if the 49ers are on, watch Niner game.
Yep. Good one the other night. Yes.
Yep.
Do you ever get back home to see the games or?
Oh, in the Bay?
Mm-hmm.
I used to. My fiance works in sports media.
Mm-hmm.
So he can't necessarily be he's on YouTubes and podcasts all during games and Sundays or work days. So we don't get to go to as many games, but yeah, no, but it's good. I mean, that's what he does, and yeah, it's fun. We are going to Texas, Oklahoma for his birthday next month, though.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so that'll be good.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be
okay.
fun.
Let's talk about when you go back. I'm jumping back to the exercise part. Is there a specific type of exercise that you like? Do you like, hey, I'm a Pilates, I'm a yoga, or I'm weights, or is it all everything?
I'm not a Pilates girl. Maybe I should be, but no. Yeah, mostly. I was a CrossFitter for years. And so.
How long did you do CrossFit?
Oh, a long time. Until like 20. When I own a house in Chandler. Lived in Chandler until like the pandemic, and so. Oh man, I've been in CrossFit. I was a CrossFitter since like high school till like 2020.
Wow! So even when you moved out here, you sought out a gym and.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an awesome.
Were you at the same place that whole 4.5-year stint at your old job? Same CrossFit gym?
Well, I lived up in Scottsdale for 2 of the years, then 3 down there. So a CrossFit gym in Old Town Scottsdale, then in Chandler.
Okay.
And then I think CrossFit's great. Just getting old, and I just kind of figured out it's not like that style of workout isn't like in my 30s now, not exactly like what my body wants and needs. So now I do more of like traditional weightlifting. I still love, I think I still always have that CrossFitter in me that I like the like Olympic lifting, cardio, but yeah, mostly cardio and like.
What's
Olympic
your favorite cardio?
Oh, I gotta love like a stair stepper. Have you ever done like a HIIT stair stepper workout?
I have, and it's not fun.
It's horrible, but it works.
It works.
If you need to like tone up or like drop a couple pounds quickly,
that would be the way to do it.
You like turn it up to like 16 or 17 for like a minute.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, try this. You try it.
That's jogging on a stair
it's
climber.
a hit. You put it up like 16 or 17 for like a minute. If you or start with 30 seconds. Then down to like level 6 or 8 for like 45 seconds. Then up to 16 or 18. Like it's sprinting.
Yes.
And just do 4 rounds of it. It takes like 8 minutes.
Okay. Oh, all right, I'll try it out.
8 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
You'll hate your life for 8 minutes. But when you're done,
I'll be texting you after.
Yeah, and you feel accomplished, and it's like, yeah.
But you're done, so you're not a long-term, like, hey, let me jump on the treadmill for 45 minutes.
Some days I do.
Oh, okay.
That HIIT workout, it's not my everyday, trust me. But like, yeah, that'll be like, I'll do that like maybe once a week. Sometimes I'll just do the stair stepper like a normal person for, 15, 20 minutes, or incline walk, and then lift. And yeah, like Olympic lift, and, gotta love some like kettlebell and dumbbell workouts.
All right.
Yeah.
I like the variety.
Yeah.
Now, we're getting into the cooler weather. You have your guide. Are you doing any sort of hiking or doing any of the hikes and exploring the trails up there?
Yeah. When it cools down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom's Thumb. I love that Tom's Thumb. That whole area. That's the only, and then kind of up closer, like Cave Creek, some of those like up towards the boulders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And do you have that in your guide as well?
Yes, I do. I have hiking trails in my guide. I have a lot of, the Tom's Thumb, the McDowell Mountain area. I'll add the boulders one, but yeah.
Okay. So if they go to your Instagram, they can go to your link tree, and then that'll have your guide.
Yep. It'll be emailed right to you. So yeah, and I'll keep updating it. I have like the fall festival stuff in there right now, like pumpkin patches, and there's that really cool pumpkin patch that they do every year up in North Scottsdale, the McDowell. Have you been?
Oh yeah,
It's cool.
We've been there. Yeah. That was
and
a good
so
one.
all the details of that's in there, and
good.
I'll keep it all updated.
It's funny how this stuff just happens so fast. Like,
how is it fall?
That's
It's actually scary.
Yeah, and I feel like I was seeing Halloween stuff like weeks ago,
It's insane.
Yeah.
I know. I went to the store yesterday. I'm like, how? There's pumpkins everywhere. And it smells like pumpkin in here.
Yeah. Pretty soon it'll be Christmas.
Oh my gosh, it's so nuts. But
Well, I'm excited you made time for us today.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you for
much for
having me.
being
This
on.
was awesome.
Yeah,
It was
this
good
was
talking
fun.
to you.
Thank you. Look forward to the next one.
Yes.
All right, sweet. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.